So I'm going to start with this. This is a bird that a student's family gave me at the end of the school year. It's Mallardish. And I have no idea of the history of it. They didn't tell me anything, but it looks like it's been hunted over a lot. It's got some character. So I was just curious if anybody took a look at it and had any insight. I'd just love to learn a little bit more about it. I left the googly eyes at home that they had put on it, big sticker googly eyes, but it looked really good. Like, I'll hunt over that with the googly eyes. So anyway, this is going up on the mantle. It's a nice keepsake. This family too, they know my obsession enough where they asked me what year I was born, and I told them like that's a random thing. And the holidays they gave me the Wisconsin duck hunting regulations for 1977, so I was kind of taking a look at that. And 77 was the first year that lead shot was eliminated in Wisconsin. So it's the first year of steel shot, and I think they still have the point system going on through all that rigmarole. So anyway, neat family, a really neat keepsake. And so again, anybody who has any theories or insight, they didn't tell me anything, they just gave me a Google Eye bird. And it was pretty cool. So that was this. Dan, you can help me. I don't remember the name of the fella. A couple months back, he had all sorts of extra material that we were just grabbing and we were off. I mean, you made your canoe paddle out of it last month too, what have you. So I didn't really know if this was redheadish, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to do. So I did a pair of them, and they float. I haven't keeled them yet. They're heavy as all get up, but I'm just kind of having fun playing with paint. So I don't really know what wood. It feels pineish to me. And it's, the attempt to paint is in acrylic. And another question for everybody too, the Traditions acrylic paint is what I'd had, and it's kind of been running out, and I can't get it anymore. I don't know if Traditions stopped, or is it the stuff they sell in the duck blind, and that's the style where I got my paint. So I picked up some stuff from Michael's, and it has a sheen. I can't get it a finish though. If anybody has a good lead on some acrylic, I'm really in need of raw umber, burnt sienna, and titanium white and some of that. And I'm just really kind of scratching my head. So if anybody has advice.
I know there's a place called James Company in Maryland. You can only get that mail order or online. Nobody locally sells it.
James.
So James, Jaymes.
Okay.
And I just ordered some and they ship right out real quickly.
Perfect.
But that's the only way you can get it is online, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, and then this was kind of fun. This one I didn't carve that, I just painted them. So what was the name of the guy, Dan?
You know, I can't remember because there were like 3 estates all around at the same time that all donated. I think 2 of them donated pallets of wood.
Right.
And I don't remember. We have it in our minutes, but I can't remember which estate that came from.
Okay, I need to look that just to give credit. So, and then last year we had I don't know, these trees suck. The black locust. I had a huge one in the yard and right by where my kids. I built them their little playground and their sandbox and everything. And I'm just sitting out there. Kids weren't out, and all of a sudden it's like 250-pound branch just dropped like feet from it. So a few $1,000s later, getting that big sucker removed, and now I'm picking up little suckers all over the place. You know, and they're coming up. Every time you pick one, 3 more sprout up, kind of deal. So this is a really long story, but in order to access that black locust, we had to rip down our grapevine, which is this nice long fence along the way, and I'm sitting there looking at all this cedar thinking, what the hell am I going to do with that? So I decided to take it and repurpose it. So I have about another 7 or 8 of these teal that I'm working on. So I've kind of sort of finished painting this one with my subpar paint. But anyway, this thing floats like a champion. And it self-corrects like nobody's business. And if you've seen any of my other futile attempts at duck decoys, I'm pretty impressed with it. So these will be hunted over. But anyway, they're hollowed out. This is cedar and painted in some combination of weird acrylic. So,
Fred cedar?
I believe so. Whatever the fence post was, because I inherited it or whatever, when we bought the house, I cut it up, just been having fun with it. So, trying to repurpose it. It made me think of Denny. So, anyway, I monopolized enough of the time.
paint job possible of Black Duck. It's my last set of brown eyes. My eyes have been ordered since Christmas and they're still not here. So decided to go that route. When I did the pattern for this, it's a Victor D9, so the old plastic Victors. I have them, at my house I have a 10-foot shelf, or a shelf that runs around the whole lower level at 10 feet. And that's where I keep all these antiques, and I have all these Victors up there. And we were talking about it at dinner, and I said, you know, I'm really struggling to think of something to carve. And my daughter says, well, just pick something off the shelf. You know, they all look the same, they're all the same shape. You know, pick something off the shelf and do it that route. When you look at those Victor D9s, all their puddle ducks, except for widgeon, are the same bird with different paint jobs. So I kind of thought, all right, how can I make a generic head and body that I could paint as a pintail, you know, black duck would, or mallard, however it might be. So this is actually bird number 2. Bird number 1 was the true pattern, which had about a 3/4 inch longer bill. And I didn't like the way it looked, so I chopped it off. So, and then the keel on this is butternut. And it has, when I milled it out, it had this real cool bark inclusion. And then when I finished it, the bark fell off. So I had to get creative and super glue the bark back in, because that's what I wanted for that keel, was that real nice, you know. And since there's no real character to the bird, I wanted character to the keel. So that's kind of the route I went with that. This one is still made with pine shelving that came out of Dave's mom's basement and a basswood head.
Canvas back that I just finished. So it's basswood body, hollow, basswood head, walnut keel. It's a smoothie, so it's just painted on. All the feathers and everything are painted on. I didn't do any like fancy carving back there, but then tried to take some time and tried to figure out how to get some of those feathers to actually look like they're actually part of the bird. So, yeah. Bird.
Is that acrylic?
Yeah, it's acrylic. It's golden acrylic. So if you're looking for it, I enjoy it. Like I don't think it's as shiny as it. Super shiny. But the golden acrylics are nice paints, and that's what I've been carving with. I started with them because I like the airbrush paint, and I just kept down with the acrylics. And you can find it at like, I don't know where else you can find it, but I always buy it at like.
Okay.
So just order it like.
Thank you.
Well, I got a hen mallard field decoy. It's carved out of white cedar, painted in oils. And actually, this is the 3rd hen mallard I did. And I got kind of curious when I did the last one. So I looked on my list. Number 2 hen was done in 1982. A lot of you guys didn't even know I was 4, did you? So anyway, I had a new approach on how I painted this. You know, all the light color edges and stuff. I painted those areas solid that color, and then put the brown on them, and then try to go back. Of course, the trouble with me is I don't get the right color the first time. Probably ain't gonna get the second time either. So, but it was a new way I tried it, and I guess I'll show it to you that way. So there's a few feathers on the guy, but it was kind of a unique process for me. Probably used 3 tubes of oil paint because I never get the color I want to begin with. So.
Well, I haven't had a whole lot of time to carve lately. I've been trying to get my mother's house sold, which we finally did. And I decided to bring the duck call down that I found a couple months ago en route when I was working out at your house. I ran across an estate sale that guy had a bunch of really nice older decoys, and he had this call, and I decided I'm going to take and purchase this one because I'd love to learn how to make calls, and I thought this would be a perfect pattern for doing, learn how to make calls now. Phil Nelson lives not too terribly far away from my parents' house, and I should have known better, but I called and or texted him, I snapped photos, and I said, hey, are any of these ducks worth the price they're asking? And he said, no. But I asked him about the duck call, and he said, yeah, I saw that one there. He said, that one would be worth buying. I said, good, because I already did. But I said, I don't know anything about the Carver. I said, it's got this really cool K and W on it. Well, he has Doug's book on duck calls, and looked it up. It's a Clarence, I just looked it up. Clarence King? Does that sound familiar, Doug?
Who is it? I don't know.
Clarence King?
Clarence Wick?
Clarence Wick.
He's a Minnesota Carver.
Benson, Minnesota?
Hang on a second, I might still have.
Is that a coffee farm?
Yeah.
Well, let's see it.
Just get him here.
Let me put my hands on it. It's Kelly
It's
Wick.
really well.
Kelly Wick.
Kelly
Yeah.
Wick.
Kelly Wick.
Kelly Wick, that's right.
Clarence Kelly Wick. He's from
Clarence Kelly
Benson,
Wick.
Minnesota.
Thank you.
And he's deceased.
Phil identified it for me, and he sent me actually an excerpt from your book. That was kind of cool. Anyway, it was kind of fun. Yeah, I also have, because we lost the storage space at Mom's house, we have a bunch of cutouts and such that we're looking to get rid of. These were given to us a while ago, and we're just realizing that the kids aren't going to be using these. I'd love to see some newer carvers grab them. I just don't have space to store them anymore. They're in a bin over here. I think there's a robin in there as well. Feel free to look through that and take them home. And I've become a man of many vices, and I'm looking to get rid of some of them. Also, I have a handful of angle grinders, which I only need one. If anybody's interested in seeing them, I'm not looking for anything for them. I don't even know how I've acquired these. They were not from the back of somebody's pickup truck, I'll just say that. But they're just things that we're looking to clear out space. My wife's giving me pressure to get space back in the garage again. If anybody's in need of one, let me know.
I'm just wondering, should we be inviting the wives to all our meetings now? No.
Noted.
Of course, that comes from a single guy.
Don't put that down.
Yeah. That is so fun. So, everybody had been making green wing teal, so I thought it was time I tried another one. And I don't even know where the first one is, to be honest with you. So, it's made out of basswood. It's painted with acrylics. I'm switching to gold and paint too. I went to Blick, and there's another acrylic there that the one guy who paints a lot was there said, you might like this better. So I've been trying that as far as the sheen goes. But I messed with the golden too because it also did airbrushing. So the tail feathers are inserts, and it's hollow, and it's just made out of basswood and painted with acrylic. So that's it.
Are the feathers wood? The feathers?
It's all basswood.
One other thing I forgot to mention, Lori McNeil wasn't able to make it this evening. Is anyone interested, or she's still offering to take photos of your carvings and get